Jerry Buss was wanting to buy the Lakers for quite some time. Remember, Jack Kent Cooke was the previous owner.
Right.
He ends up getting divorced, and they have to divide up the assets because that's what you do in California. It's community property. So he doesn't want to sell the team. Everybody wants to own the Lakers. But Jerry Buss saw an opportunity, knowing that Jack Kent Cooke was going to have to sell. And he got into this very complicated transaction that was not just like money for the team. It was a bunch of real estate changing hands. He buys the LA Kings, he buys the Lakers, he buys the Forum. There's a ranch up in Fort Tejon that he also buys. But at the end, one of Jerry's minority investors drops out some of the financing that he had to pay Jack Kent Cooke for this purchase was $67 million. Falls through at the last minute. So one of his late night phone calls of trying to salvage the deal and come up with the money so they can close was to a guy named Donald Sterling, who had a mutual friend named Frank Mariani, who was one of the Jerry Buss's business partners. They're both just real estate guys in LA. And about 11 o'clock at night, he calls up Donald Sterling. The next morning, they go to the bank together, and Donald Sterling and Jerry Buss are not morning guys. But they had to get up and close the sale at 8 o'clock in the morning and go to the bank together to get the last $3 million.
So, and then using Donald Sterling's money, the Lakers kicked the Clippers' ass for 3 decades, pretty much.
In a way. I mean, Donald Sterling could have just bought in and been one of the co-owners of the Lakers, but he didn't want that. He wanted real estate. He wanted some of Jerry Buss's apartment buildings in Santa Monica. So, but he did get the perks of, friend of the family, friend of the organization. Yes. In that first year, Jerry Buss buys the team, and they are wildly successful. As you know, the Lakers go and win a championship. The Forum Club is the West Coast version of Studio 54. Everybody in LA wanted to be there. And one of the frequent visitors to the Forum Club and the special room inside the Forum Club, that was Jerry's room, that was invite only, and you had to be on a list to get in there, was Donald Sterling. And he saw all of that. And I remember the thing that really got me of why this was so important was I was talking to Bob Steiner, who was Jerry Buss's longtime publicist. And I said, what was Donald like in those days? And he came to me one time and said, Donald Sterling came to him and said, I want you to do for me what you did for Jerry Buss. He goes, it wasn't me. I can't do that. Mm-hmm. You'd have to buy the Lakers. Well, a couple of years later, Donald Sterling buys the Clippers.
In San Diego.
And
moves them to Los Angeles.
And a lot of this, Rich, comes back to just they are remarkably similar backstories. They're both rags to riches stories. They both came from poverty. Donald Sterling is a guy from East LA who put himself through law school, worked his way up, built a real estate empire in LA. Jerry Buss is from Wyoming, put himself through USC, got a doctorate in chemistry, built a real estate empire in LA. They're very similar backstories.
Well, you want to talk about similar backstories, an LA story. So you're saying Buss, using Sterling's money, buys a team in the Lakers that's available because Jack Kent Cooke is getting divorced.
Yep.
And currently Ballmer owns the Clippers because of a crumbling marriage as well. That's a Los Angeles story more than anything else.
I mean, literally, as I was reporting on this for the last 5 years,
amazing.
I've said so many times, you could not write this. If you wrote this as a screenplay, people wouldn't believe you. You couldn't, the twists and turns that it goes through. It's really the ultimate LA story. I mean, in a lot of ways, Donald Sterling is a lot of people who come to Los Angeles, they want to be famous. They equate celebrity and money with validation and respect. And I think this town chews up and spits out a lot of people like that, right? You come here thinking you're famous and you made it. And at the end of it, you really only make it for what you're remembered by. And, he's remembered as one of the worst owners in all of sports.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download The Rich Eisen Show app.